This video is an answer to Shrouded Hand's video tag to me. Please check out his channel at the link included on this video. In the end, I will tag 3 more horror narrators to share a scary experience they had as a child. Don't worry guys though, there is no obligation for you to respond. But it'd be really nice if you did. Now, I've shared a lot of my scary experiences, and the more times that I add them on here, I tend to think, oh my god, what a weird life I've had. So, I kind of run out of stories about my own life, but I did come up with this one. It happened when I was very young, and it may seem a bit weak compared to the others, but here we go. I grew up in a Navy family. My father was a petty officer who got transferred a lot, so it's important to the story to know it took place on Navy housing. I was 10 years old when this happened. It was a cool fall day. The sky was overcast, and I always enjoyed that kind of weather. I asked my parents if I could go to the park and play for a while, and they let me. When I got to the park, I was upset that no one was there. But I decided that was alright because I could have all the playground equipment to myself. As I was on the swing, I got a really bad idea. There was a set of monkey bars on the playground, and I had sometimes seen the older kids climb over the bars and then walk on the top of the rungs, stepping on each rung from one end to the other. I had always wanted to try that, but the bigger kids would never let me. That day, though, there was no one to stop me. So I went over to the bars and I grabbed the first rung. Then I pulled my legs up and I was able to eventually hook them over the next rung. After that, it was really easy to pull myself up and to the top of the bars. I decided I would walk on the rungs all the way to the other end and then climb down. Never having done this before, I didn't have any idea what it would be like. I also didn't know that one of the rungs was wet. When I stepped on it, I fell between the rungs. My forehead hit the bar in front of me, causing my head to jolt back, and the back of my head hit the rung behind it. My whole body felt fuzzy and numb as I fell to the ground, crying like any 10-year-old would have. I began walking home, bawling my eyes out, when a big black car pulled up on the side of the street. The door opened and a man that I'd never seen before came out, and he asked me why I was crying. I explained to him what had happened, and he put his arm around me. He asked me if I wanted to have him take me home, and I told him I wasn't supposed to go anywhere with strangers. He told me he worked with the Navy security, and it was alright. Like an idiot, I believed him, and he let me sit in the passenger seat of his car. He got in and began driving in the wrong direction. I asked the man what he was doing, and he told me that he was going to take me to his house and call the hospital. I asked him to just take me home, and he ignored me. He then reached over and patted me on the knee and left his hand there. I really felt terrified. Now, this could be the luckiest break I've ever gotten in my entire life. Do you recall when I made a point of it that I lived on Navy housing? One of the good things about Navy housing was the presence of security. I wasn't in the car with the man for more than 2 minutes until a real Navy-based security car pulled up behind him and turned on its lights and sirens, and the man pulled over. I wasn't sure why at the time, but they arrested the guy, and the man called for another security car, which came and got me and took me home. I guess my father felt it was better to scare me even further by explaining to me what had happened. The man was not only kidnapping me, but my dad decided to explain to me in terrifying detail what a pedophile was, and that there had been kids in the general area who had been molested by someone. Now, whether that part is true or not, I don't really know. My dad had a tendency to make a lot of stuff up, and he was an extremely heavy drinker. It wouldn't have been the first time in my life that he lied and told me a scary lie to keep me from doing something, and this happened so long ago that I have no way of really knowing for sure if this guy was ever actually tried or convicted of anything. But at the time, and even in reflection, it was pretty scary. I want to thank Shrouded Hand for tagging me. Please make sure to check out his channel. Also check out the channels of the 3 narrators I am tagging. Their challenge, should they choose to accept it, is to share a scary story from their childhood and then tag 3 other narrators. Don't feel any pressure though, guys, you don't have to do it. I'm just a sucker for this kind of thing. So I'm gonna go with narrators I'm relatively sure will be listening to this video. So I will tag Joey's Nightmares, Blue Spooky, and The Fear. And guys, whether you make a video or not, just don't forget to check in your closet and check under your bed, because you never know where a killer orange cat might be hiding. Good night.